Wagwan everybody, I'm Prospect, and if you're trying to figure out which is best between controller and keyboard and mouse, I got you in this video. I've spent a long time playing on each platform, so I'm here to tell y'all all the pros and cons that I personally found while playing them, so that you can make an educated decision for yourself about which one is better. So that being said, let's get straight into the meat of this video. I want to start with the controller pros and cons because that's what I spent the most time playing on, and that's what I'm the most familiar with. So I think the most obvious pro that everybody knows about is the aim assist. If you look in the community, left and right, there's people calling aim assist OP, and they're not necessarily wrong. Aim assist is a very huge advantage because it assists your aim. It's simple, it gives you better aim. So controller is definitely the easier one to get good aim on. And the other pro that I've seen on controller is the simplicity of it, because it's a very simple mirrored surface. So learning controller is way easier than learning keyboard, and there's way less mental strain trying to learn it. But of course, controller does have its cons too. The two biggest cons that I've noticed on controller are the lack of control and the skill limit. I've noticed that on keyboard, it's significantly easier to control your own builds in your own piece. Meanwhile, on controller, it's a lot harder because you're kind of controlling your movement and your aim with the thumb, and that's not the easiest. So I would definitely say having control over your builds and your piece control is way harder on controller. Although there are still people that make it happen, so don't lose hope if you are on controller. And I also want to talk about the skill limit, because there's a noticeable skill difference between people who play on controller and people who play on keyboard. Of course, there's exceptions either way, but on average, your average controller player is not as good as your average keyboard player, and that's because keyboard is harder to learn but has more potential moving forward. And while we're talking about improving and moving forward in the game, I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about my personal progression. I played on controller for a few years and I managed to make some pretty good highlights. But 9 months ago, I switched from controller to keyboard and mouse, and since then, I've been putting in the grind on my mechanics and my own mindset so I can become a better player at the game. And I want to show you the two maps that helped me do that the most, because these maps, honestly, I'll go out and say are one of the best practice maps out there. Up first is Free Build Simplistic. This map is fairly new, and I've gotten significantly better since I started playing it. The delay in this map is so low. If you were looking for a zero delay free build map, this is the one for you, because I've never touched 0 to 10 ping in my life, and I played this map, and I did, you know what I mean? And also, this other map right here, Edit Aim Peace World 2.0. This map has been up for a while, and honestly, it's claimed to spot as one of the best edit, aim, and piece practice maps out there, because you can practice every mechanic, you can reset the game as much as you want, and of course, the delay is low because Prospect made it, and you know me, chat. So if you guys want to check out these maps, map codes are on screen and in the description as well. They'll help you improve at the game. But enough yapping about creative maps, let's get straight into the keyboard pros and cons. So as I briefly mentioned earlier in this video, there's a lot more potential when you play on keyboard. Because on keyboard, there's so many more buttons and it's so much easier to move your hands on them and click more buttons quicker, which of course, when you adapt to that, you get significantly better at the game compared to controller. And as I mentioned, the control on keyboard isn't so easy, but on keyboard it is. On keyboard, I would say the builds and edits are one of the easiest things to grasp, because not even a week into the game and I was running triple edits, you know what I mean? And there's some controller players out there who've been on the game for a month, 2 months, or a year and don't know triple edits. So I would say if you want to get flashy builds and flashy edits, keyboard is definitely the way to go because they're easiest to learn there. And keyboard is somewhat difficult to learn, especially if you've played on controller your entire life. But I'd say it's worth it. Taking the few weeks of being a bot and struggling to learn is worth it, because after those weeks are over, you'll be a significantly better player. So my personal advice would be to switch to keyboard, because I did it, and I would say I doubled in skill, and I'm still improving today. And my final con for keyboard is the aim. Some people, it's natural and it's easy for them, and some people, it's difficult. I've had days where I felt like either or, you know what I mean? Because there is no aim assist on keyboard. So if you want to be good on keyboard, you're going to have to put a lot more time into aim practice, because on controller, you don't really need aim practice, but on keyboard, you do. So now that we've listed the pros and cons of each, let's get to the final point of the video. Which one? Honestly, it's up to you. I'm presenting to you what I learned in my progression on both controller and keyboard so that you can make an informed decision. My personal preference, as I've said, is keyboard, because of the skill potential. I want to become better at this game, and keyboard is the vessel that's allowing me to do that. But I think both platforms have the potential to do very good things because there's pros on each one. It's just a matter of wanting it bad enough and putting in the effort. So let me know in the comments which one you were picking. And as always, I'm Prospect. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.